I know this latest one, the Bret Hart one. There's one right at the beginning that I've already got that was good, but I'd already gotten into the whole push it thing. To be fair, the majority of that was from one episode, and then a little bit from another episode. So that was a big push it. That was not just one long continuous thing. I admit it is a JRR mega mix. I figured to start out the new year, we needed a mega mix to do it. We had added the music and everything. But JR has a thing with pushes.
Yes, he does.
I mean, he got really, really upset. He just does not, he's not into the push. Not into the push.
He's all about the pull.
he's a puller. Not a pusher, he's a puller. That's for sure. Pasty, we're going to get into New Japan. We got to keep this thing going. We're moving, and I'm usually the one to keep up with it. But I do have a special beers that I'm drinking tonight. I actually got a sampler pack. I'm going to run off really quickly. I got the Alaskan Brewing Company sampler pack.
Yummy.
We love Alaska Brewing Company, and they're actually brewed and bottled in Juneau, Alaska. Way to go.
Brewed and bottled in Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah. But the first one that I'm going to be partaking in is the Icy Bay IPA. So when I crack the next one, I'll just do a little blurb and let you know. But the Icy Bay IPA.
Sounds fantastic.
It is, but not near as fantastic as New Japan Pro Wrestling's premier wrestling event, Wrestle Kingdom 14, the first ever two-night Wrestle Kingdom event. And Pasty, on the show and in private, I was adamant that I did not like the fact that they moved it to 2 nights. And I will say, I'm hoping in the future it goes back to 1 night, but I was not disappointed with the 2-night event at all and was thoroughly entranced in it.
Yes. I had every intentions on watching both nights because I'm usually set for the long haul, especially when it comes to New Japan. But due to some technical difficulties, I only managed to catch the second night, barring the first hour. But I wasn't let down.
You couldn't be. And I think due to the fact that you didn't see the first night, and due to the fact that, as I kind of mentioned before we got on the air, I still think, as much as I enjoyed both nights, they could have easily done night 1 as a go-home show, maybe a special event, maybe a New Japan
big
World
giant
exclusive.
Pre-show. This is what I was kind of thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they could have done a New Japan World exclusive. You have to be a member of New Japan World. For those of you who might not know, that's their streaming service. That's their WWE network, if you will. And you could have done that the night before and just had it the streaming and not had it, the Wrestle Kingdom. It would be an exclusive. But nonetheless, we'll get right into it. Started out with an 8-man tag team match. We had Naoki Sano, Shinjiro Otani, Tatsuhito Takaiwa, Ryusuke Taguchi, defeating Jushin Thunder Liger, Tatsumi Fujinami, the Great Sasuke, and Tiger Mask.
Yeah, not kicking this one off good for the points for either one of us at 0-0.
No, our rationale last week was we expect Jushin Thunder Liger to lose his retirement match, which would be in night 2, so they got to let him win night 1's match, right?
Right.
Wrong.
No.
That was definitely not the case. This one, like I said, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, but this was a fun match to start, and everything felt super special. The thing I love the best about this one, and I think, did you say you've seen some of this one, Pasty?
Yeah, I think I got through most of this first match.
So the very beginning of this started out with the entrances of the other 7 participants, but their Titantron, their video package, if you will, or their screen when they came out, was highlights of matches with them and Jushin Liger. And it culminated with a fantastic entrance of Liger that literally gave me goosebumps, probably just because I knew what was going on. It wasn't the most amazing entrance ever, but I knew this was towards the end. And the Japanese crowd, which is known for being so quiet, was so loud. And that's actually going to be a trend.
Yeah, very much so.
This year. But I heard after the fact that Jushin Liger actually handpicked these 7 guys because of the history he has had with them since breaking into pro wrestling. So that was awesome. The fact that they had highlights of matches with all 7 guys, not even just the people he was against, but everybody in matches with him, really made this seem really special.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was a better match. It felt like a better match than it actually was, but I'll take that. After that, we had the 8-man tag match Suzuki-gun, represented by Zack Sabre Jr., Minoru Suzuki, Taichi, and El Desperado, defeating Los Ingobernables de Japón. God, I love saying that.
Yes. Represented by
Sanada, Evil, Shingo Takagi. Takaki. I stumbled on my words there. And Bushi. We like Bushi.
Yes, indeed.
Basically, this is kind of what it said it was. It was an 8-man tag. This was a battle between the 2 top factions, or at least 2 of the top factions in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And the announcers pretty much sold it that way. But it wasn't really about, one guy versus the other. But Sanada, to me, definitely stood out. I've felt this for a while. I've said it before, but definitely right now, and I think going in, I think Sanada is definitely a future world champion. And every time I watch him in New Japan, it just blows my mind how Impact wasted his amazing talent back in the day. It was sad.
I don't think I ever got to see him on Impact.
It wasn't as bad as Okada, let me tell you that. But he came in with a big bang in the X division and had a good look, and then they just relegated him to nothing in multi-man matches. I say that as he's in an 8-man tag here. I get it, but
it's different in Japan, though. It really is.
It is. Plus,
in a lot of cases, these matches are the highlight of the night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Maybe not here.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say 2020 could easily be the year Sanada breaks out into his own and actually becomes a big singles success. I'm not going to say world champion, but I think he's going to break out on his own and start getting people looking at him a little more.
He should. He definitely should.
And then we went looking at another 8-man tag match. Whoa, if this is not the definition of the old WWE adage, let's just throw them all together and give them a spot on the card and a payday. More factions, though. We love New Japan's faction, and New Japan loves their factions. We have the Chaos faction, which here was represented by Haruki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, Toru Yano, and Yoshihashi. And they defeated Bullet Club's Kenta, Bad Luck Fale, Yujiro Takahashi, and Chase Owens. This match basically was to build Kenta and Goto for the Never Openweight Championship on day 2. It was basically their match with some supporting players.
And that was an amazing match.
That was. But what was cool about it was they emphasized Kenta, they emphasized Haruki Goto, but those two actually didn't have a lot of time in the ring together, but they had a lot of facials and a lot of playing with each other and a lot of emotion. And again, that's another theme that's going to be throughout these 2 nights. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. But I loved the finish. The finish was Goto executing his Go-To Revolution, which is basically a GTS. It's his GTS. It's a GTR. And he won with that. And he did it while just staring at Kenta and not doing anything else. So that he basically just looking at Kenta saying, I can beat you with your own move, buddy.
I got your number, bitch.
Yeah, that was awesome. I loved that. You didn't need English commentators and announcers to feel that story there. I'll tell you that one right now. Moving on, this was definitely the worst match of both nights. I gave it only a grade D+, and that's really low considering what I gave a lot of these. I felt like Dave Meltzer just throwing shit out there, but that's how I felt.
You don't love Finn Juice?
You know, I like a lot of juices. Finn Juice isn't my favorite. Not at the moment. IWGP Tag Team Championships, David Finlay and Juice Robinson, who are lovingly known as Finn Juice, defeated Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. I mean, there wasn't nothing wrong with this match, but I didn't get into it. It was kind of just sitting in neutral and never really upshifted. And the worst part for me personally, especially as a GOD fan, was Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa have had the longest title reign since actually Machine Gun Anderson and Doc Gallows. And they talked about this pre-match. And that was back in 2015. And this was not an amazing match for them to lose the titles to. I don't care if they lost it to David Finlay and Juice Robinson. That's fine. But make it good. They've had so many greater matches that they've won. It just seemed real lackluster to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when the Bucks left New Japan, they did talk about Tonga and Loa being the kind of guys to just kind of rest back on their laurels. And I guess I could see that then if you were going to be losing your championships, that you wouldn't put that much into it coming from that perspective.
Yeah, that's true. I'd love to see how much Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Tonga Roa, all three of them, would how they would do over in AEW, you know?
Yeah.
And throw in Ming, throw in Haku, you know, they're the father.
Yeah.
Put them in there because they've got so many of these old school guys in there now, the old school NWA guys. Meng is an old school NWA guy from back in the day. God, that would be awesome.
That would be.
Possibly.
Hey, it could happen if Chris Jericho wins his match on night 2.
It could happen. And I'll tell you what.
He loses his match. Sorry.
Going from lackluster to extra mustard, baby. Next up, we had the Texas Deathmatch IWGP United States Championship match. Jon Moxley won back his title from Lance Archer by knockout, Pasty.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, this is one I definitely need to go back and rewatch for sure, not even knowing anything about it.
This is one you need to go back and rewatch. I'm going to spoil it a little bit for you. Obviously, you already know who won. But suffice to say, this is a badass brawl. We got kendo sticks, we had chairs, we had tables. They actually used Lance Archer's spiked hat as a weapon. And Pacey asked me before the air, he said, how did this compare to Moxley Omega? And, you know, it wasn't near as brutal and as hardcore, but the storytelling, you saw the emotion on Moxley's face with every spot he took. The pacing was good, and it seemed like there was a reason for everything they did. They made it feel real.
Yeah.
And I'll skip the ending, although the ending is really awesome, and I will just add that both men are wearing the proverbial crimson mask by the end. Maybe not the crimson mask, but crimson splatter, for sure.
A little dribble.
But it looks like Moxley's going to be spending more time in Japan in 2020, Pasty, because New Japan did not waste any time setting up Moxley's new feud. Minoru Suzuki came out right afterwards and attacked the new U.S. champion after the match. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting, especially with New Japan making it a goal of theirs to expand more into America this year and the coming years. It wouldn't be a bad idea to keep Moxley on their shows and selling New Japan World subscriptions, selling tickets to their shows in America, selling tickets to their shows overseas to Americans, you know?
Yeah. It's definitely people like Moxley and Chris Jericho who are drawing more eyes from America to New Japan at the moment.
For sure. 100%. And somebody who's drawing eyes from the United Kingdom over to New Japan and everywhere he goes is Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay came in as IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, but lost it to Hiromu Takahashi in what Fat Mac said was possibly Match of the Year candidate when he watched it. I gave this an A+. I gave this an A+ when I watched it, thinking, I don't know if anything's going to be better. Hopefully there's a few that are just as good. I was wrong, folks. But this one, Pacey, I thought of you because I know that you're not the biggest Will Ospreay fan. In fact, you say he's kind of bland, and I get it, and I see where it comes from. But I would love you to go and watch this one, not only because it's one of the most amazing matches, and you got to give a lot of credit to Takahashi. I mean, he's a hell of a dancing partner.
Yeah.